Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Bree, and today well, by the title you know that we are going to be talking about a touchy subject, and this is like my 10th time trying to record this intro, and I just can't. I don't know, I'm having a hard time. Like, I'm just really like nervous, I'm on edge, and let's just get into the video. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive right in. June 20th, 2018, I had a stillbirth, and I almost died, and my child did die. June 19th, I was at home waiting for my fiance to like get done getting dressed, because he takes all day to finish getting dressed and stuff. And I was sweeping the back patio and I felt like something pop in my stomach, like, and it hurt really bad. And I remember just telling him, like, the baby's hurting me, whatever he just did, he's hurting me. And I ignored it, and we went to Kohl's because I was getting a outfit for my baby shower. I knew what color I wanted to wear. I know that I wanted to wear a romper, and I just needed to get some shoes and a cute romper. Okay, so we get to Kohl's, and I find this really cute blue romper that has like flowers on it, and it's long sleeve with shorts, and I'm pregnant. So my fiance comes in the dressing room with me, which he wasn't supposed to. We did get in trouble in the store, but he came in there with me to try to help me like change and stuff, because I have this big belly. I was like 7 months pregnant, and I had trouble, you know, getting stuff on and off. So he's in there, he's helping me, and we get my shirt off, and can't remember if I didn't wear a bra or if I took my bra off. But where my bra would usually sit, I had really dark, like red bruises here, and like a red, like it would look like a rash. It looked like I had a rash under my boobs and down my stomach. And we were looking at it, and I'm like, does this look weird to you? And he's like, looks like a rash. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, does it hurt? And I'm like, no. So we ignore it, and we went home. I couldn't find shoes, by the way. I didn't find these shoes, but we went home, and I remember he was cooking soba noodles, because we had the Hello Chef or Green Chef meals, and he was cooking us dinner, and it was like soba noodles and veggies and stuff that I've never ate before. I've never heard of soba noodles, and when they cook, they look like rubber bands. Like, I remember a lot about that night, and I actually haven't ate soba noodles since then. Okay, so we ate dinner. Fast forward to about, I want to say it was like 3 in the morning, and I get up and my stomach's hurting like really bad. Like, I've never been in so much pain in my life, and I'm just like, maybe I gotta use the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and I didn't have to use the bathroom, and I tried to drink like water, and I tried to drink cranberry juice, and then I was thinking, maybe I can sleep it off, because it was like 3 in the morning. I had to get up for work at 5:50. So I went back to bed, and then my alarm went off in the morning for me to get up for work, and I was still in pain. Like, I was hurting like really bad. I was really like just hurting. And so I went and tried to use the bathroom again. I drank some more water. I drank like 2 cups of cranberry juice, and I ran out the front door, because I've never called off work before. And I was just like, do I really call off work for a stomach ache? Like, I don't want to be that pregnant girl, like, oh, her stomach hurts, so she's not coming to work. Like, at the time I was just thinking, who calls off for a stomach ache? Like, and I've never called off before, ever, never. Like, I've never called off before. So I'm in all this pain, and I managed to get out to my car, and I didn't wake my fiance up. Like, me and my fiance we were still living together at the time. Like, we had just moved in together like a few months back, and I didn't wake him up. I got in my car and I drove to work. The whole time, like, I'm driving to work, I'm like in all this pain. I'm just thinking to myself, like, I just have to make it to work. I just have to make it to work. They see how much pain I'm in, then they'll send me home. I just felt better about being sent home than calling off. So I'm driving to work, and I'm just like, I'm crying, and I'm just talking out loud, like, I just need to make it to work. I just need to make it to work, because at this point I'm in so much pain. I feel like I can wreck my car, like just drive off the road. Like, I was in so much pain. I couldn't focus. Like, I was hurting. And then like I made it to work, and we have to park across the street where I work. We can't park, like we can't park in the parking lot. There's just not enough space for employees, doctors. There's not enough parking spots for employees, doctors, physicians, and visitors. It's just not gonna work. They don't have enough space. So we park across the street. So I sit there for a little, it felt like 30 minutes. I think it was only like 10. So I sit there for a good 10 minutes, and I look at the time, and I'm like, you know, it's almost 7. I need to get out so I can go to work. And I'm trying to move to get out of my car, and I can't get up. Like, I'm in so much pain, and I can't get up. Like, at this point, I can't move. I just feel like crippled. Like, I can't move. I can't do anything. So I just started crying, panicking, freaking out, because at this point I'm like, something's wrong. So I call my fiance, and you know, I'm telling him I can't get out the car. I can't move. I'm in so much pain. He's so confused. He's like, what's wrong? What's wrong, babe? What's wrong? I'm like, I'm in the parking lot. I can't get out my car. And he's like, babe, I'm coming to get you. And I'm not thinking. I'm like, okay, come and get me. And he's like, I'm coming. So he walks outside, and he's like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in the parking lot. He's like, I'm in the parking lot. I don't see your car. And I'm like, I'm in the parking lot at work. And he's like, you drove to work? And I'm like, yes, I didn't want to wake you up. My stomach was just hurting. I didn't think nothing of it, but I think something's wrong. So he gets off the phone with me, and he calls my doctor. And then as I'm sitting there, I'm trying to call off work. I've never called off work before. I'm calling the main hospital number, and it's just like, thank you for calling blah, blah, blah hospital. Please hold. So I'm sitting there, I'm holding, and then my coworker calls me, and she's like, you're late. And she's like, oh, hee hee ha ha, you're late. And I'm just like freaking out, screaming over the phone. And she's like, no, it's okay. We're overstaffed. Stay home. And I'm like yelling at her, like, help me. I can't get out the car. Something's wrong. Please help me. And she's like, hey, stop playing. And then I'm like crying. And she's like, wait, are you for real? When she figures out that I'm for real, she's like freaking out. And she's like, I'm going to come get you. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm crying. And I look up, and I see like, now they may have not have seen me, but I see like nurses walking by, and you know, people that could help me just walking by me. And I'm freaking out in my car. I'm scared. I've never been so scared in my life. I'm terrified, and I've never been in so much pain. I just felt awful. Sorry guys, I had to take a break. I was sitting in my car, and the next thing you know, like, I'm not gonna say their names, so we'll just call one D&E. We'll call them D&E. D&E, they walk up to my car, and they're trying to get me out of the driver's seat. So I can't remember if I got in the passenger seat or the back seat, but I remember them sliding me out of the driver's seat and putting me over in either the back seat or the passenger seat. And I remember D was the one who got in the driver's seat, and E was in the other seat that was available. I don't know if that was the passenger or the back. And they drive me across the street. They drive my car into the ambulance bay, and they put me, my friend is already there with a wheelchair, and they put me in the wheelchair, and they push me in through the emergency room, through where the ambulance will go. And I remember everyone looking like, what's wrong? And I'm just like, I don't know, something's wrong, you know, something's not right. It hurts so bad. I've never felt like pain like this. It's too soon, like he's not coming. I don't know what's wrong. So they put me in a trauma bay, and you know, they check my cervix, and she says I'm not dilated. They give me an ultrasound, and they said they didn't see anything wrong. Then they take my blood, and she's like, we're waiting for your blood work to come back, but we're going to transfer you to Anderson, because the hospital that I work at, they don't deliver babies. So they had to transfer me out to a hospital that does. So they transferred me to another hospital that was closer. And when I got there, they took me to triage. And it was weird, because when I got there, they told me that, you know, the baby didn't have a heartbeat. And by this time, my fiance was there. I was just waiting for my mom to come. So we were both in the waiting triage, and the doctor was already in there, and he sat down, and he gave me the little shoulder thing, you know, the weird, and he's like, your baby doesn't have a heartbeat. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I start freaking out. I'm like yelling, I'm crying, and I don't know, it's just, I don't know how to describe how I felt. Like at that time, I was just freaking out, and I don't know. And then he goes from, you know, your baby doesn't have a heartbeat to you're very sick. And I'm just like, what? That's all I can say over and over again. Like, what do you mean? Still referring to him like my baby and his heartbeat. What do you mean he doesn't have a heartbeat? I was just at the other hospital, the hospital I work at, and they're like, you know, everything's fine. So what happened in between here and there? So I still don't know if they were just lying to me, or in between that hospital and the other one, my son lost his heartbeat. I don't know. But I just don't really know how to talk about this. But I want to talk about this because I just feel like I run from it so much, you know? Okay, so I just remember him saying, you're sick, you know, you're so sick, and I know you can't feel it right now, but you're very sick. And they give me morphine, and I like instantly just burn it off. So they give me Dilaudid, and I just remember, you know, waking up, phasing in and out of reality in a hospital room. And I remember asking my nurse, you know, am I gonna die? And I remember her just doing the same thing as he did, and putting her hand on my shoulder and just saying, we're gonna do everything we can. And I don't know, I just feel like everything went from being about my baby to me, because at this point in time they just said he was, you know, deceased. And I don't know, it was just a lot. They said that I had DIC, and that my baby died, and my body's reaction to my baby dying was my body dying. So my organs were failing, my kidneys were failing, my liver was failing. The rash that I was talking about earlier, I was bleeding internally. That was a bruise. The rash that was going down my stomach, that was a bruise from where I had been bleeding into my belly. And my blood wasn't clotting properly, so I was just bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and my body was trying to die with my baby. And I mean, it's just a blur. I don't really remember anything besides like fading in and out of reality. I got a couple of blood transfusions. I remember I would go to sleep from the medicine, and I would wake back up, and there would be a new group of people in the room. They're just all sitting there looking at me, and I would go back to sleep, and I would wake up. And I got to the hospital around, I think, 10 in the morning, and they were trying to get me stable so they could try to either deliver the baby vaginally or by C-section. And their fear is that I would bleed out if they didn't fix my clotting factor, or whatever the issue was, get my platelets up, get my blood up, whatever they needed to do. So they gave me I got a blood transfusion, and I don't know what else, if I'm being honest. I just know around 8 o'clock I had woke up again, and there was a whole bunch of doctors in the room, and they're looking at my fiance, and they're like, you have to make a decision. She's stable now. Do we rush her into an emergency surgery so she can get a C-section, or do we try to deliver the baby through vaginal birth? Because my cervix wouldn't open up. They were giving me medicine to open up my cervix, and I think I dilated 1 centimeter. And I was at that hospital for over 10 hours at that point. And my fiance decided that they should take me down to surgery, and I just remember them pushing me down in that bed and letting him walk to the doors, you know, before you go into the OR where he had to stop, and them taking my ring. And then I just remember waking up, and when I woke up, I remember seeing my grandma, and I remember the nurse saying, we're not ready to let her be up yet. And I just remember going back to sleep. And then I remember waking up the next day and I was on a ventilator. And if anyone who doesn't know what a ventilator is, it's like they put this tube down your throat and it like breathes for you or whatever. And it was just really uncomfortable, and I couldn't talk because I had the vent on. And I felt so weak. I was swollen. I was in so much pain, like emotionally from losing my child, and physically from everything my body had went through in the last 24 hours. And just, I was hurt for my fiance, for my mom. She really wanted a grandbaby. And it was a lot. It was definitely a lot. And I just remember them giving me a piece of paper, and I was trying to write stuff. I couldn't get out of bed. They would get me up and sit me in a chair and then put me back in the bed, and I was in so much pain. And I remember they brought me my son, and you know, he was deceased. And I remember they warmed his diaper so it could feel like he was warm. And I remember being so weak that I couldn't really hold him. And I just remember feeling so sad and but numb. I would have like random breakdowns, and it was tough. But I will say my family really did stand by me, and through this time it really just showed me like who my real friends were, because there were so many of my friends that just like weren't there. And that was like the first realization I had, that everyone that says they're your friend isn't. And after, you know, I got out, I just took a step back and just did some evaluating for my life. Once I got out of the ICU, they moved me down to a floor on the delivery unit, and I was there for an additional 3 days. And I had to get MRIs, and I think I got 1 MRI or 2 MRIs. I got 2 MRIs and 2 CT scans, because after my surgery, my voice was really slow. Like I talked like this, and they said it could be from trauma, but they wanted to make sure I wasn't having mini strokes. I also had left side weakness, and it was hard, you know. It was really hard. I was afraid to go to sleep at night. I couldn't sleep. They gave me Ambien and all kind of sleep aids, and I couldn't sleep. I really struggled with, if I went to sleep, I wasn't gonna wake up. And I struggled with that after leaving the hospital. I struggled a lot. But I had an excellent support team. My mom was there with me every day. She helped me shower. She would help me go to the bathroom. She would help me get up out of bed. And my fiance, he would help me shower and help me get out of bed. And he stayed with me every day in that hospital on a little cot. He stayed there every day. And it's just, I think the hardest thing about the whole situation is I don't really remember my son. I was so doped up and on medicine, and I don't remember. Like, took pictures for us for free, and they were nice, you know, professional pictures, but a picture doesn't compare to real life. And then they took the pictures in black and white and did a lot of editing to make it smooth. And that's not how he was. I remember that, you know, he had some discoloration from where, I don't know, I guess, I don't know. But I don't really remember a lot at all about, you know, what he looked like. And it really bothers me that I never got to see, you know, his eyes. And I don't know. But I don't really remember a lot at all about, you know, what he looked like. And it really bothers me that I never got to see, you know, his eyes. Or when we got the pictures taken, my fiance got to, you know, put his clothes on and off and put him in little outfits. I didn't get to do any of that. And I don't really remember my baby. And it's hard. And when I went home, when I finally got discharged, I just didn't have any peace. I couldn't go outside. I was terrified to go outside by myself. I was terrified to stay alone by myself. I couldn't drive. I cried every night. Like, I really felt like I could die from a broken heart. Like, I felt like I was going to die. And it was hard. And even now talking about it, I feel like what I'm saying doesn't make sense. And I feel like maybe because it's too early for me to talk about it, like, I still can't put it into words to where it makes sense to me. Like, I'm all over the place. And I don't know, like, even now, I remember last year I went to the ER for abdominal pain because I had to get like my gallbladder out, so I was having some really bad abdominal pain. So I went to the ER not knowing what was going on. And I remember that the ER doctor came into my room and he's like, wow, you had DIC and you lived? I only met 2 people with that and they both died. And I'm just looking at him like, oh, awesome. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like I haven't been that same person since. I feel like I battle anxiety and depression a lot since that happened. Like, I can feel myself not actually being present in a situation. Like, with my friends, they can be sitting there laughing, having a good time, and I'm laughing with them, we're having fun, and then boom, I'll phase out and I'm just not there. And I'm just everywhere but there. And I have days where I wake up and I can barely get out of this bed, and when I do, I just go from this bed to the couch, or I can have just woken up from an 8-hour perfect, you know, sleep, and I just feel tired, like I can't do anything, like I just need to lay around all day. And I battle with that often. I don't know, I feel like we did have Noah cremated and put into this urn. He was like the perfect weight. He was long. I remember he had dark hair, and he had a lot of hair, and it looked like he was gonna have my fiance's nose. 'Cause, ooh, he had a little wide nostrils and a little flat, cute nose. And I don't know. I just always sit and I reflect on where would we be now if we still had our baby, or what would be different in my life. I feel like I lost a lot of innocence that day, and I feel like I haven't been the same person since. And I feel like I don't know. I'll insert pictures so you all can see like my baby and my C-section. Not like a video of my C-section, but like my scar and how it's healed up, and when I was on a ventilator. I don't know, I feel like I want to end this here because I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this yet. I don't know. I will say, if you've had a stillbirth, or if you've experienced a miscarriage or some kind of child loss, can you leave in the comment section, like, what did you do, or what are you doing to, you know, just continue to push on and like to continue to do things, and how do you cope? And I just feel like talking is therapeutic, you know. And I don't know, I think I'll end this here.